Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Ari and Big Mike are proud to present the greatest podcast in the world. No snowflakes allowed, and summer is coming.
This is the podcast that was started by two guys on cigar night. So, what do you got for us today, Mike?
Well, so with everything going on in Israel right now, I thought I have an actual good topic that I'd like to talk about with you about turning our pain into power. And I think that it'll just expand not just into what's going on there, but what's going on here in America, what's going on within ourselves even. You know, it's like one of the things that I've noticed is that when you look at those who've overcome the greatest traumas, that's what they've done. And we went through a hellacious one on October 7th, and we're still going through it now. And it's one of those things that we're finding our power. We're finding out what makes us who we are. There's a phrase, Al Kiddush Hashem, for the sake of heaven, right? That we say that, you know, and it's like we're God's people. We're Eved Hashem, you know. We're servants of God. That's what we do. Now, when you look at the Holocaust, what did you see? You saw Jews picking up arms and joining resistance. You saw people who were about to die calling out God's name and singing his praises. Why? You know, they knew they were about to die because of that. But they believed in it so much so that that was their strength. Viktor Frankl, you know, talks about man's search for meaning, about purpose, about meaning, about what we're doing and why it matters. You know, and what do? We take that pain and we turn it into our power. Like a drug addict who has been destroyed by life, who's on his last breath and goes to rehab and goes to meetings and works on himself. And next thing you know, fast forwards a few years later, you know, it's like all of a sudden you see this man or woman who's really doing something amazing with their life. Why? Because they turn their pain into power.
Do you have anybody specific you're thinking about?
Oh, I'm definitely thinking about a very particular woman right now who I know very intimately. You know, she's a good friend of mine, and I've watched this woman go from hell to, wow. She's a single mom in her 40s, and she just, you know, she's graduating from college, and she's going to be a therapist to help other people. She's turned her pain into power, and I'm very impressed by this woman.
Okay, so what was it that she did? So what was it that she did that separates her from the people who succumb to the pain?
You know, there's a phrase, motivation fades, right? Why does motivation fade? I am excited to do this because of this, whatever it is, motivation. But it fades. It's like a fart in the wind. You can lose it as quickly as you got it, you know. But discipline, you know, setting schedules for yourself, doing the work you have to do for yourself, going to the gym. I remember this one guy I was friends with back in Israel, and his doctor said to him, he says, you know, you got to find an hour a day to work out. You know, you got to do some anaerobic exercise. He says, Doc, I don't have time. I do this, I do that. I work. I've got these kids. Blah, 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 blah. He goes on and on and on about all the things he does in a day. And the doc says, if you don't find an hour to do that, to work out, you're not going to have 23 hours a day to, you know, to do the other stuff. All this, you know, your work and the kids and all the other stuff. He's like, you're just not. He's like, you're killing yourself. Guy's numbers were horrible. He was literally on the verge of death, and he didn't even realize it. You know, he was just like, you know, a step away from a heart attack. And the doc's like, this is ridiculous. So he did the next 8 months. He worked out every single day. Every day, you know, he did a 30-minute workout. He was told to do an hour. He did 30 minutes. And every minute he would do a minute of jumping jacks, a minute of push-ups, and a minute of sit-ups. And he kept switching. So he'd do 10 sets of jumping jacks, 10 sets of push-ups, and 10 sets of sit-ups. And he would do like a minute of each, as many as he can do. And you would see him working out when he first started. I remember when he was fat, I helped him. I actually worked out a couple of times with him. And he was able to get 2-3 push-ups, by the third set in the push-ups. And there was no 10th set. He was dying on the floor. Fast forward 8 months, he dropped like 200 pounds. And then when he did the exact same workout, at the final set of the push-ups, he's still getting almost 100 push-ups. The guy was in crazy shape. Every single day just did those same 3 exercises for half an hour, switching every minute. And it was like insane watching him. He obviously changed his diet. He drank more water, like all the things he's supposed to do. And next thing you know, he goes to the doc, and the doc says, "Oh my God, your numbers are amazing." He didn't take no meds. He just ate healthy and exercised. Turned his pain into power. So, with that,
There's a book. It's up there somewhere. It's called 168 Hours, about scheduling your life. And in it, I'd have looked it up if I knew we were going to be talking about this. In it, there's a woman who's had started her own business. She's got a family to take care of. She's in amazing shape. She's got her life completely in order. And what the author says about this woman is that she never says, "I don't have the time." Because her schedule's completely full. But she never lets herself say the words, "I don't have the time." Instead, what she says is, "It's not a priority." It's not a priority. So if she's asked to do something, she's got the time. She could just move something around, but everything else is of a higher priority. And the author explains when you say that, when you say explicitly, "It's not a priority," what you are doing is you are admitting to yourself that the other things you are doing are just more important. And if the other things you're doing are, taking your kids to the park, or the other things you're doing are studying to get a degree or running your business, then something, maybe it's not a priority. We'll tell you, "Hey, really, you just got more important things to do." But if those other things are catching the next Netflix series or sports ball or whatever, maybe you could find the time if you could make it a higher priority.
I really like that. I really do. I think the idea being is like we all have to make choices in life.
I think it was good enough that although I said the word sports ball,
I'm letting that go. I swear to you, I can't deal with that sports bullshit. I'm sorry. I don't know. It's like football's football, baseball's baseball,
it's all
hockey's
sports
hockey.
ball.
See, that's the thing. Though you're a guy who's never played like obviously a team sport.
You're right. I've not.
And see, that's the point. Guys who have, they compare a football field to war. The field general.
George Carlin did that. Yeah.
He did the whole thing. But the reason, listen, I'm sorry, when George Carlin did it, he ripped off so many cliches that it was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why the cliches are there is because you look, you talk to anybody who's ever been in the Army, and then you talk to someone who played football, and you compare the two stories, they come pretty close.
Okay. Back to it's not a priority.
So you don't.
Okay.
Don't
back
knock,
to the priority.
Don't knock our sports ball, Mister. All right, now I'm going to go back to the point of the original point that I wanted to make. That we're talking about Israel. We're talking about taking our power into pain. And I'm going to read you something that a friend of mine just posted on the social media of, I don't know, whatever they call it. It said, "I am prouder than ever to call myself a Jew. The values we hold as a people is shining now brighter than ever. Just know every ounce of fear you try to instill in us will only unite us. Every ounce of darkness you throw at us will only ignite us. From all corners of the world, we stand together." When I was a young man, I got attacked for being a Jew.
Where'd this happen?
This happened in college in Alabama.
Oh, okay.
So, the details aren't important. But I got attacked for being a Jew.
How many people did it take?
A lot, quite a lot.
Okay, just so you know,
Can we not?
they call him Big Mike for a reason.
Right, but size notwithstanding, it's my life was threatened.
Sure, yeah. I just
It's like
got to paint the picture, though.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Listen, it was scary. It was it's like but my life. This is my life we're talking about. So am I gonna curl into a ball in a corner and be oh my god? It's like I'm fearful. No, you know what I said? Come and get me, motherfucker. That's what I said. And when they put a burning cross in front of my dorm window, my crazy old ass, I was crazy young ass back then. I took some hot dogs and I roasted them on the burning cross. Nobody knew what to make out of me. They had no idea. Because nobody ever does something like that. Like, guess what, buddy? Like, you're not going to make me afraid. I may die, but I'm going to die with honor, and I'm going to die, like, as a man.
With your boots on.
Oh, yeah, with my boots on, and it's like maybe I'm just of an older generation when I think like that, but I would rather have my pride. I would rather, and you know what? It's like, that's one of the things that I see in this world is that we lack pride. And I'm not talking like this egotistical pride. We talk about the idea of a mother's love for her children, but we never really talk about the father's sacrifice. Well, the dad works all day, does his whole life based on his wife and kids. He is the protector, he is the provider, and we feel that as men, that's the way we're supposed to be. And we're not, we feel less than about ourselves. And the idea being is that we do it with joy because we want our family to be happy. So we sacrifice so much of ourselves for them because that's our power, and we're not living in that power, we're in pain because, masculinity is a very important thing. It is not toxic the way those liberal wants to make it out to be. Real men are needed in this world today. Men who accept responsibility for themselves, accountability, men who will stand up and fight and say, I am not afraid of the demons that I'm fighting, not inside nor outside. I have a shield, a Magen David. I have the shield of David. I have, God on my side. He is with me. And I will, become the best person that I can be, and I will defend what I need to defend, and I will do what I have to do. And when we start thinking like that, and when we really feel it, and we turn that pain into power, and it drives us to do incredible things. We look at what's going on in Israel, man, and I see the Achdus, the unity, the community. It makes me so proud. It makes me proud to see how all over the world, what are you seeing? The Jews who are outside of Israel are sending things. We're sending money. We're sending equipment. We're sending food. We're doing whatever we can to help. And the situation in Israel, 300,000 Jews were called up in the reserves of the army, and they all answered the call. And not just Jews, by the way, Muslims, Druze, Bedouins, everybody who was in Israel answered the call not to fight against like a two-state solution, not to fight against the Palestinian people, but to fight against terrorism, to fight against murderous rages, to fight against people who want to kill and destroy the entire state of Israel. And we turn that power, that pain into power. There's nothing we can't accomplish. There's nothing we can't do. And I'm going to finish with this. Yesterday, what did you see? You saw the head of, the UN make a statement that insulted every Jew in the world in one fell swoop.
What did he say?
He said that, Hamas doing all the murdering and raping of civilians was a byproduct of the Israeli occupation. and the foreign ministry, the ambassador of the UN, they're all calling for his resignation. He does, and then he doubled down. He didn't even apologize. He said, "My words were taken out of miscontext." No, they weren't. You were very crystal clear about what you said. And I'm going to be honest with you, I want him out, but that's neither here nor there. The UN is just unwanted at this point. Now, when we talk about that, and what did we do? We're standing up for ourselves in ways that were even unimaginable in 1934 in Germany. And I just want to say that I am proud to be a Jew, more so than ever before, at this moment right here, right now. And I'm thankful for all the people who've reached out. I am grateful for all those who are helping us. And I want to say thank you. And I want to thank you all for listening. Man, I don't even know what else to say except for good morning, good afternoon, and have a good night, wherever you are.